If modern trucks are supposedly the most advanced vehicles ever built, then why are so many engines failing earlier than the trucks they replaced? Everything usually starts with something small. A faint ticking sound during startup, slightly higher oil consumption, maybe a vibration that was never there before. Most owners ignore it because the truck still feels powerful, smooth, and completely normal to drive. But hidden underneath all the technology are systems quietly putting stress on the engine every single day. And this is the part most drivers never realize until it is too late. Many of the same features designed to improve fuel economy and meet emissions standards are also slowly creating wear deep inside the engine over thousands of miles. Then suddenly, what looked harmless turns into catastrophic failure, and owners find themselves staring at repair bills worth $10,000 or even $15,000, wondering how modern trucks became this fragile in the first place. For years, truck buyers were sold the same promise: newer means better. Better reliability, better engineering, better efficiency. And at first, modern trucks really do feel impressive. They are quieter, faster, smoother, and packed with technology older trucks never had. But once the mileage starts climbing and warranties begin getting close to expiration, a completely different reality starts appearing. Strange ticking noises from the engine, random warning lights, transmission hesitation, excessive oil burn, electrical glitches nobody can properly explain. And what makes the situation worse is that these are not isolated problems anymore. Mechanics across the country keep seeing the same patterns repeat themselves on certain engines again and again, which raises an uncomfortable question. Were modern trucks actually designed for long-term durability, or were they designed mainly to satisfy fuel economy targets, emissions regulations, and short-term performance numbers? And this is where the hidden systems start revealing themselves. Most truck owners still believe they are fully controlling the vehicle, but modern engines are constantly being managed by software and efficiency systems working in the background every second the truck is running. Cylinder deactivation quietly shuts down parts of the engine while driving on the highway. Auto start-stop repeatedly kills and restarts the engine in traffic. Turbochargers force smaller engines to operate under higher pressure, while emission systems continuously recycle exhaust gases back into the engine to satisfy regulations. On paper, these systems sound smart, efficient, and environmentally friendly, but together, they create more heat, more pressure, and far more mechanical complexity than older trucks were ever forced to handle. And according to many experienced mechanics, the very systems designed to improve efficiency are now becoming some of the biggest reasons modern engines fail so expensively later on. What makes these failures even more disturbing is how incredibly small the original problem usually is. Some modern truck engines are being destroyed by parts most owners would never even recognize if they saw them sitting on a table. A tiny lifter failure can suddenly damage an entire camshaft. A restricted oil passage can quietly starve critical engine components of lubrication. Cheap plastic timing guides buried deep inside the engine can crack and throw everything out of sync within seconds. And the scary part is that these failures rarely begin dramatically. Most drivers hear small ticking noises or notice subtle performance changes long before the real damage appears. But because modern engines are packed so tightly with electronics, emissions hardware, and compact components, diagnosing the issue early often means tearing apart massive sections of the engine itself. By the time mechanics finally reach the failed part, what started as a minor issue may already have become a catastrophic repair bill. Long before most truck owners realize something is seriously wrong, many mechanics have already seen the exact same failure dozens of times before. Inside repair shops, certain engines quietly develop reputations for collapsed lifters, turbo failures, stretched timing chains, and excessive oil consumption, because the same trucks keep returning with nearly identical problems year after year. But average buyers rarely hear these patterns discussed openly until after the warranty expires and the repair costs become their responsibility. And this is where the situation starts feeling uncomfortable for many owners. Modern engine repairs have become extremely profitable. Dealerships can make thousands from major replacements, diagnostics, and labor-intensive repairs, while customers are often told the problem was caused by towing habits, maintenance mistakes, or driving style. Yet online communities are filled with owners reporting the exact same breakdowns under completely normal conditions, creating a growing suspicion that many drivers are unknowingly being pushed into predictable and expensive repair cycles from the very beginning. The real cost of modern truck ownership usually begins long after the monthly payment starts. At first, everything feels manageable. But as the miles add up, the hidden expenses slowly begin stacking on top of each other. Specialized oil changes become more expensive. Emission systems start failing. Sensors trigger warning lights for problems owners cannot even see. Software issues suddenly require dealership-only diagnostics just to understand what went wrong. And this is where modern trucks start feeling less like mechanical machines and more like rolling computer systems. A single failed sensor can suddenly disable an otherwise healthy truck without warning. For many owners, the repair costs eventually become so overwhelming that financing another vehicle starts feeling easier than fixing the one they already own. That is why more drivers are beginning to feel like they no longer truly own these trucks anymore. They are simply paying to keep them operational. Because of that, experienced truck owners are starting to change how they approach modern truck ownership entirely. Many now shorten oil change intervals, investigate ticking noises immediately, avoid engine platforms already known for repeated failures, and perform preventative maintenance much earlier than manufacturers recommend. Others are holding on to older trucks longer simply because they trust simpler mechanical systems more than modern complexity. At the same time, online owner communities are exposing recurring failures faster than ever before, allowing drivers to compare patterns and identify warning signs long before dealerships acknowledge them publicly. And what started as isolated frustration is slowly turning into a much bigger debate about the future of truck ownership itself. Because once you start looking closely at how these systems actually work, it becomes impossible not to ask the question more and more owners are already thinking. Were modern trucks destroyed by emissions rules, corporate cost-cutting, or by technology itself?